Did you know that a growing number of young women in South Korea are choosing a life without dating, marriage, sex, or kids? It sounds like a bold decision, right? But there's a powerful reason behind this trend that's challenging the fabric of Korean society. More and more South Korean women are pushing back against the traditional roles expected of them, and it's starting to shake things up. What's driving these women to reject such deeply rooted norms? And what are the impacts of this choice in a society where they're still expected to fulfill certain roles? Stay with us as we dive into why Korean women are stepping away from traditional life paths and breaking away from long-held standards for women in Korea. To truly understand what's happening, let's first take a look at the culture and life in South Korea. South Korea is a fascinating country with a unique blend of ancient traditions and high-tech modernity. Located in East Asia, bordered to the north by North Korea, from which it separated in 1945, South Korea has a population of over 51 million, with a large portion concentrated in its capital, Seoul. For decades, South Korea has been an economic powerhouse, known worldwide for its technological advancements and massive pop culture influence, especially through K-pop, which has taken the world by storm. Yet behind this modern, global image, South Korea still holds on to many traditional values, particularly regarding family and the role of women. Korean society has always held strong expectations for women. Though more women have entered higher education and the workforce in recent decades, they are still expected to prioritize family. For centuries, Korean women were viewed as the heart of the home, responsible for raising children and caring for their husbands, while men were seen as providers. Even today, many Korean women are professionals with financial independence, yet they often feel bound by these family and societal expectations that demand they fulfill traditional roles despite their achievements. This cultural pressure reaches into the most personal decisions. Marriage and having children are not seen merely as options in Korea. They're almost social obligations that many women feel compelled to fulfill. This dynamic has created a climate where, despite their professional advancements, many women feel caught between their desire for independence and the expectation that, eventually, they must marry and start a family. Korean society is also highly competitive, with education and work deeply valued. But a balanced personal and professional life is incredibly hard to achieve. This context helps explain why so many Korean women are now choosing to reject the traditional paths of marriage, motherhood, and the role of homemaker. But there's more to this story. To grasp the full scale of this shift, we need to look at the social and professional pressures women face in South Korea. In a country with some of the longest working hours in the world, the Korean work culture is extremely demanding. Women not only work long hours in high-stress jobs, but they also face an invisible yet constant pressure, the expectation that they'll eventually step into the idealized roles of wife and mother. Let's keep going to uncover the deeper reasons why South Korean women are saying no to the traditional lifestyle. From a young age, many South Korean women feel their lives are pre-designed by societal expectations. School life is filled with relentless competition, and the pressure to get into top universities is all-consuming. Once in the workforce, they enter environments where long hours are expected. And it doesn't stop when the workday ends. Informal dinners and social gatherings to strengthen professional ties are also a norm, further eating into their personal time. So when we talk about women choosing to forego marriage and children, it's not just a personal choice. It's a stand against an exhausting and limiting system. The demands don't end at work. A woman who decides to marry in South Korea often shoulders most of the domestic responsibilities, regardless of her career. Culturally, the expectation remains that a woman is responsible for the home and children, even if she works just as much as, or more than, her husband. This means that for many women, marriage isn't only an emotional commitment, but a second shift, one where expectations are strict and societal appreciation is limited. This reality has driven many women to the breaking point, where more and more are saying no to traditional roles, challenging the notion that they must sacrifice their personal ambitions to fit into social norms. And so we come to a silent but powerful revolution, the 4B movement. But what exactly is 4B, and why is it creating such waves? This could very well be one of the most striking social rebellions in modern Korea. The name 4B stands for 4 major rejections in Korean: no to marriage, no to sex, no to dating, and no to children. Each no represents a personal story, a conviction, and above all, a stand against a system that many women feel does not truly value them. The 4B movement has become more than just a statement. It's a sanctuary for many women. In a society where marriage and family are foundational, the rise of the 4B movement, and with it, thousands of women defying those norms, hits hard. 4B has evolved into a community where women can find support and feel free from judgment or societal pressure. Some members say that joining 4B has been incredibly freeing, providing them with a sense of liberation they had never experienced. But 4B isn't just about adopting a new lifestyle. It's an open critique of Korean society. The movement rejects the notion that a woman's life should revolve around traditional roles, offering instead a path where every woman is free to decide what she wants for herself, without the labels or social obligations that once seemed unbreakable. This is huge because, at its core, the 4B movement questions one of Korea's most deeply ingrained values: the woman's duty to marriage and family. This can be confusing to some, as family is central to Korean culture. The decision to reject marriage and motherhood isn't seen lightly, but for many of these women, 4B isn't just a radical stance. It's a survival strategy. Rather than finding themselves trapped in relationships or lifestyles they don't desire, 4B gives them an alternative. And it's transforming their life expectations in ways that few could have predicted. The impact of 4B is not small. In a traditional society like South Korea, rejecting these roles is shaking up family values and shifting the perspectives of an entire generation. But what challenges do these women face by choosing to live outside the norm? For many women in South Korea, choosing to forgo marriage and children means facing intense social pressure. Family and friends often express concern, discomfort, and even disapproval of this decision. In Korean culture, a woman's role is still closely tied to the idea of family, so when someone decides to go against this, they're challenging a deeply ingrained norm. But for these women, personal freedom takes priority, and they'd rather withstand judgment than live a life they didn't choose. The 4B movement has also raised big questions about South Korea's future. With one of the world's lowest birth rates, the decline in marriage and family formation has become a national concern. What does it mean for the country's social structure if more women take this path? The government has tried promoting marriage and family with incentive programs, but the rise of the 4B movement shows that for many women, these incentives aren't enough. They've come to a key realization: their lives and dreams don't need to fit into a model that feels restrictive. So, what do these women really want? Surprisingly, the answer is simple: independence. They want a life free from social expectations, where they can truly live at peace with themselves. Many say that by not having to worry about the pressures of marriage and family, they've found a freedom they'd never experienced before. It's more than a stance. It's a redefinition of what it means to be a woman in a society that hasn't always allowed for individual choices without judgment. The 4B movement isn't just shaping the present. It's proposing an entirely new vision for the future. These women are choosing to live life on their own terms, and while the social impact is significant, the reach of their choice could be even broader than Korea anticipated. Only time will tell how this change unfolds and if it will inspire similar movements worldwide. So, what do you think about this movement? Do you see 4B as a legitimate act of rebellion or as a radical response? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in more content like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next videos.